Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
This segment to the Indian automotive sector has been ugly, disproportionate, weird and horrible looking cars. So irrespective of the fact कि आपकी body, उसके अलावा steering, और इसमें एक अच्छी बात ये भी है कि चाहे आप Why the f do people use horns so much in our country? Ever since the subcompact sedan segment was created, the single largest contribution of this segment to the Indian automotive sector has been ugly, disproportionate, weird and horrible looking cars. Well, it is a designer's nightmare to fit a sedan into under 4 meters, so naturally these have been terrible looking cars historically. But more than 70% of sedan sales in India come from this particular segment. So naturally it's a popular segment and more manufacturers are trying to get into it. And now there's a new kid on the block, and that's the reason why we are here today. Say hello to the Hyundai Aura. Now, if you're thinking, well, this is just an extended version of the Grand i10 Nios, you're not wrong. It actually is, but then again, if you talk about the design, there are some differences. Of course, the grille, as you can see, the design is slightly different, and depending on the variant, well, this of course is the turbo variant, so it's got a 1-liter petrol engine. So this one comes with a black outline, looks good, looks sporty. If you opt for any other variant, which is the 1.2-liter petrol or the diesel, you'll get a metallic finish. So that's more in the premium positioning of the car. While you get a single boomerang DRL on the Nios, you get 2 of them here. So these are some subtle differences that make the Aura different from the Grand i10 Nios. And in terms of the side profile as well, that is where the car really gets different. Well, to start with, you've got these fantastic looking 15-inch alloy wheels. The design is absolutely stunning, and of course the roof, well, it's got a very good coupe roof line, so it tapers off right after the B pillar and goes in right up till the boot. The C pillar has been blacked out. Now that's a personal opinion. Hyundai claims it's a premium feature. I would have personally preferred it to be in body color. It looks a little bit aftermarket, but then again, it's a subjective thing. Design, it's got a brand new rear. It's got really good looking tail lamps. The boot again has got good character line. The only thing that I personally would want to change is between the 2 tail lamps, which is connected by a stripe. Well, that is something which looks a bit overdone, but I think most buyers will appreciate it. So overall, yes, Hyundai Aura does come across as a good looking and a dynamic subcompact sedan. The aura of the cabin is quite pleasant. Now let's start off with the dashboard. Now, since this is an extended version of the Grand i10 Neo, so you can definitely see a lot of similarities, but the differences lie in the fact that you get a dashboard here, which in the center part is colored completely in grey. Now this is because this is the turbo petrol variant. If you opt for any of the other petrol or diesel variants, this part would be in a bronze finish. Apart from that, in this variant, you get the air cons with these red circular inserts, gives a sporty character. On the other models, however, you'll get a silver accent, more in line with the premium positioning. You get a familiar infotainment system here, so you have this touchscreen, gives you Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and of course the touch response is good. The interface is simple. The instrument cluster, again, similar to what you see on Grand i10, so it has an analog rev counter and a digital display, which gives you a lot of information, right from speedometer to your trip meters and a lot more. The segment first feature in this car, however, is this wireless charging pad that you get here, and it supports fast charging. You also have 2 other USB points here, one of which is again in compliance with fast charging speed, the other one is normal. Beyond that, it is a good looking interior. The materials look good, It is a premium looking interior, the build quality is nice, and yes, it is a pleasant place to be in. Now when it comes to seats, again the Aura scores well. What you get here are very well padded and cushioned seats, and of course they offer good all-round support. Now this being a turbo has got these red stitching and piping all around the seat with a black shade. If you opt for the other petrol or the diesel variants, what you will get is a grey seat, and yes, so this is made to look sporty, goes in sync with the character of the turbo engine. Those are more towards offering you a premium look. Now once you get inside the rear cabin of the Aura, that is the rear seat, well, again it is a comfortable place to be in. Now with the driver seat adjusted to my driving preference, you can see I do have a lot of leg room to spare, and I do of course have the luxury of having an almost flat floor, so I can easily slide my feet underneath the front seat. In terms of headroom, again, it shouldn't be much of a problem for most occupants. The seat itself is quite nice. It's got a good rear backrest angle. The cushioning is good, and the under thigh support is quite nice as well. You do get a center armrest with two beverage holders. Now one good advantage in the rear seat is that the headrest here is adjustable, unlike the front seat where it is fixed. You also have these rear air conditioning vents here, and of course a 12-volt power outlet. So overall, the interior, the cabin experience of the Aura is quite pleasant. It is modern, loaded with features, it's got space, and it leaves always a good smile on your face. Now when it comes to powertrain options, Hyundai has pretty much packed in everything it could. So what you get is you get a 1.2 litre petrol engine, you get a 1.2 litre diesel engine. By the way, it's a brand new engine, it's a BS6 compliant engine. You also get a 1 litre turbocharged engine, which is the one we are driving right now. And not just that, you get a CNG, that's a factory fitted CNG option as well. Now you can get the 1.2 litre petrol and the diesel with either of the 5-speed manual gearbox or a 5-speed AMT. The 1 litre turbocharged, however, comes with a 5-speed manual only for now. And well, this is the star of the engine lineup. And if you're wondering, well, how many people are really going to buy a powerful and an expensive 1 litre turbocharged engine? Well, an interesting fact is that the Venue, which actually was the car with which this engine debuted, around 46% of the total sales from the Venue lineup is for the turbocharged petrol variant. So, well, of course, there is a lot of demand for such cars. Well, coming to this engine, well, this engine develops a power of about 100 PS and 170 Newton meters of torque, which is more than enough to move this car at a brisk pace. Now, this being a 3-cylinder turbocharged engine, well, once you cross about 1700 RPM, that's when the turbo really comes into its element, and that's when you get a strong dollop of acceleration. And actually, it might sound surprising, but this is a petrol Hyundai that is fun to drive. The other good thing about this engine is the NVH. So, well, of course, it's a petrol, so NVH is not much of a problem for petrol engines. But then again, yes, despite being a 3-cylinder, this is again good on the NVH scale. Of course, when it's idle, you can listen to some noise, and of course there's some vibration. Once you get moving and once the turbo is into play, well, that's when things smoothen out. The gearbox, again, it's a 5-speed manual, matched nicely to the engine. The ratios are good. So yes, it's a gearbox that complements the engine's performance, and you can actually push this car and have a lot of fun with it. The other engine that we have driven is the 1.2 litre diesel. Now again, that's a good engine for your daily runabouts, for your daily city runs. It's got a power of 75 PS and about 190 Newton meters of torque, so more than enough to move the car at a decent pace. And yes, you have the good option of an AMT there as well, apart from the 5-speed manual gearbox. It's an in-house developed AMT, again works well, good for your commutes within the city, serves the purpose. So yes, in terms of powertrain options, in terms of engine, in terms of driving performance, Hyundai has hit the sweet spot with the Aura. Handling has been a sore point for Hyundai in the past, but of late Hyundai has worked a lot and has improved in this area, and same is the case with the Aura. So while you have an engine which wants to be pushed hard, it also has a suspension and a chassis that complements it. So yes, you can actually push the Aura to a certain extent around corners without it showing any signs of complaint. There is not much of a body roll, and straight line stability is again almost perfect. You just have to keep in mind that it's not an outright performance car, so if you push it to the limit, well, of course then you will start seeing some shortcomings. Even the ride quality is quite nice. All the undulations are filtered out well. The suspension does a good job of tackling them, so you do get a good balance between handling and comfort, and that's precisely what the customer in this segment asks for. Now, one segment first feature in the Aura is the driver rear view monitor system. Even while you're driving forward, you can use the rear view monitor to have a look at what's behind you. Can be helpful in certain situations. So, well, again, that's a nice feature to have. Now, one important aspect for a buyer in the compact sedan segment is the boot, and the Aura gives you good boot space, 402 liters to be precise, and the layout is nice as well. The loading lip is not too high, so yes, a good, accessible and a spacious boot which you can pretty much use for your weekend trips as well. Now, as far as prices are concerned, Hyundai has done a really good job with the Aura. It's priced competitively, and you can see the variant-wise pricing on the screen right now. Now, if you compare this to the competition, of course, Hyundai has an advantage because this car offers you more features, in fact, a lot of segment-first features, but still at a competitive price. Overall, yes, a very strong package, and if you've seen the headline, you must be wondering why do we believe that this car will go on to beat the Maruti Suzuki Dzire and take segment leadership, which is what Hyundai aims for. The simple reason is that Hyundai has the new 1.2 liter diesel engine, and diesel accounts for about 40% sales in this particular segment, and Maruti Suzuki is exiting diesels with the oncoming BS6 emission norms. So with that chunk of sales gone, well, it is Hyundai that stands to benefit. The car is good, it's priced competitively, it's got great features, and it's pretty much bang in time. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe button and do not forget to share it as well. And for anything else and more such videos, please log on to www.expressdrives.com. Till the next time we meet again, please obey all traffic rules and wear your seatbelt while driving a car and a helmet while riding a two-wheeler.